Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the session on Technobus Showcase track. My co-host, is Professor Shekhar Babu. And Shekhar Babu, please take over.
Thanks, Dr. Mohan. And I do understand. I was actually trying to find out. Good morning, everybody. I know you're all joining in, and some of you asked me the question, saying, "Sir, you said the mail said 8:45," and yes, I agree. It was scheduled for 8:45. But I do see people who have already logged in, and we can probably get started. We don't need to wait till 8:45. We have at least 15 minutes of time. So sorry for that small mix-up, um, but we can get started. So I would request uh, Vinita and Parimi Mastan Rao. So we have among this, we have, before we get started, welcome on board. Sorry for the mix-up here. I know our mail said 8:45 and probably you're all just getting to log in. But here we are on the final day of our CCEM conference. We are all very excited to have you here. We are equally excited because this is probably the second year where we have a separate track for Techno Business Plan. Usually we club the Techno Business Plan with the student project showcases, and we get combinations of both to come and present.
No, not. We are. If I may kind of interrupt, Professor Shekhar Babu. We had a different name for this track, which was there for the past 5-7 years. I think 7 years or 6 years. We had a different name. Formally, it has been called Techno Business Plan Showcase.
Absolutely.
Track. I think last year onwards.
Yes. So yeah, please correct Mohan. Mohan is I would say the inventor of this track. So he'll be more precise, and he will add the actual value to it.
Maybe just I'll take 30 seconds to tell why.
Please, you should. We have a little bit time, so we can definitely do it.
Yeah, because I thought we should fill up that time. If there's been a goof up on the invite, we should apologize and
absolutely
make it up fast. Not a problem.
Yes.
Most engineers are technically skilled, right? But then when they get into the real world, they have all kinds of problems. Their immaturity shows up in so many ways. And the critical part of the story is that most engineers, as soon as they graduate, think that they should be given jobs by some godfather who's around. Okay, that godfather could be the government, the godfather could be the industries. And if you look at the young wannabes want to be types who go to a company and say, I want a job and I want 10 lakhs per month kind of salary. That attitude is amazing. The problem is India produces about 3.5 million engineers per year. 95 or 97% of whom are unemployable. This is the kind of statistic that has been thrown around, and I was shocked and surprised. And the reason why this is so is because politicians run colleges, and their job is to ensure that the students get a certificate. There's no importance given to merit, no importance given to honesty, no importance given to the skills that one truly learns, right? And the rough and tumble, people learn. Actually, when do you start learning engineering? When you start working in a job. And then you find a lot of qualified engineers not getting a job. And it's so depressing for youngsters to know that they have been thrust into a world based on a lot of false hopes and false promises. The purpose of this Techno Business Plan Showcase was to say that when you are learning engineering, you need to be honest to do engineering. You need to do hands-on engineering. And on top of it, you need to do what is called as engineering with a business sense, right? You need to know what kind of problems exist around you. You need to know how to do the problem solving of the problems around you. And it is in that context that you should also know there's something called Sustainable Development Goals, which United Nations has been talking about. And In that larger canvas this year, Gopal has started an initiative on trying to get people to get going on the sustainable development goals oriented projects, so that you should be able to not only give a try on your entrepreneurial energies, but also should be able to solve some societal problems around you, aligned up with what in general, universally, it is recognized as the societal problems. And these problems are going to be there next 100 years, 10,000 years, or maybe as long as human beings last. Things like we all live in a city, there's congestion everywhere. We all want pure air, and that's missing, right? Because of the industrialization and the human greed. We want to have good education. We have all kinds of challenges, including the corona right now, right? In a way, it is also a blessing, because now children are kind of forced to sit and watch videos and learn from it rather than chatter away in classroom in the back benches, perhaps, right? We are having challenges on the financial front. People do not have access to capital. So self-help groups are important. There's something called microfinancing that's very critical. And what is microfinancing all about? Trying to encourage the entrepreneurial ability, which is intrinsic to every human being, to be able to stand on their own legs, right? So we have all these kinds of situations that exist, and it is in that context that getting people to know that there's something called the business sense angle to engineering work, which is different from being a businessman. A regular business plan is all about trying to see how you can take a regular, simple, ordinary idea and make it happen, right? And make money and sustain yourself and sustain the society around you. Techno business plan restricts and looks at a very focused area. What is that focused area? What is the business feasibility of your technical innovation? So there's the innovation part and then the business feasibility part. That's what techno business plan should be. And in the next, the 6 who have been chosen today to present it before the audience have to bring out that very critical aspect of what their technical innovation is all about. They cannot say, look, sir, we don't know, we only know the buzzwords. Not acceptable. You're supposed to know what is the technology involved and how you'll be a little hands-on there. At the same time, you can't say the business guys will take care of all the business analysis details, which I don't know. Not acceptable. You should know what the markets are in a simplistic way, not in a very sophisticated way. You should know what the trade-offs are. You should know how your innovation, when applied in the society, is going to make a huge difference, especially in terms of the kind of savings that it can create, the kind of impact that it can create, right? So, techno business plan is a beautiful idea that makes an engineer more complete. So, on that note, I'll hand it back to Shekhar Babu to continue his conversation.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dr. Mohan. Dr. Mohan has given the purpose and the need and an opportunity of the techno business plan. And the techno business kind of initiative, if you see, exists in a silo in most either universities or companies. It is very rare. In fact, we are probably the only unique conference. CCM, IEEE CCM is the only unique conference where we give a lot of importance to techno business plan. And this has been the 9th year. Since the first year we have had it, and we make sure that there is a separate importance given to it. That's why if you see here today, we have 1 hour dedicated time for techno business plan. We have 10 minutes each for each of the shortlisted. There are only 6 plans, techno business plans, that have been shortlisted. You all presented last week before you came out here. So this is not the first round that you're going to be presenting. You have already presented your ideas. And there were many of you who presented beyond the people who are attending here today or presenting here today. And we shortlisted only 6. And so that tells you that the amount of importance that this particular conference recognizes and provides you that level of opportunity for you to turn your idea, as Dr. Mohan said, into a business opportunity. So today what we will do is, just from a modality standpoint, we have 6 plans. And we also, when we evaluated the plans last time, when last week when we presented, there were 2 plans which were on a similar uh, area, and we chose both the plans, and both of them were giving unique ideas to the same industry, to the same sector. And we actually clubbed them, and they are the folks who are on stage right now, both Vinita Goli and Mastan Parami. They both presented in the area of fisheries, very unique area, and they came out with technology interventions. Both of them came technology interventions, and they were 2 different technology interventions. It's not the same technology intervention. So we clubbed both the plans, and we said, okay, both of you can club together, join hands, and they don't know each other. They didn't know each other. This is the first time they are getting to know each other. So they both are presenting one. So that's the kind of uniqueness we saw, and we said, okay, why don't we give both of them an opportunity here? That's what the jury and the panelists suggested. So, keeping that in mind, and I'm not the jury, I'm not the panelist here. I'm only the coordinator, making sure I'm only the chair who is coordinating this whole program. So I know some of the participants or my students. So I'm not going to be evaluating any of these plans here today. We have 6 plans. We have 10 minutes each. That includes a Q&A of 3 minutes. And so which means that you have only 7 minutes to present your ideas. Please remember, you have already presented. So please do not spend time trying to focus on slides where you feel, where we believe, and you should be believing that you should not be spending too much time. You should be spending too much time on critical slides. So, and you have only 7 minutes. In the last week when we asked you to present, we were a little lenient on the time, but today we cannot. We have back-to-back programs all set in this conference. So we have jury who are part of the attendees here who will be evaluating you, and we have Dr. Mohan also. So keeping that in mind, we will get started. I know it's 8:40, maybe a 5 minutes before.
Start now.
Absolutely. So though we said 8:45, we will start a little early. We'll take the we'll start at 8:40. And I can see that most of the presenters are here. So both Vinita and Parami Mastan Rao, welcome. I do not have your presentation. So if you can share your presentation, Mastan or Vinita.
Your joint presentation.
Yes,
joint presentation, absolutely correct.
Yeah.
So, and once you start to present, we will, Dr. Mohan, I request you to do the timekeeping if you don't mind.
Okay.
If you don't mind. Just to make sure that
sure.
7 minutes of presentation followed by 3 minutes of Q&A.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 3 minutes to Vinita and 3 minutes to Mastan. I think you guys should start off right now. Your time starts now.
Thank you.
I guess you can see the screen.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Yeah, 3 minutes to start.
Yeah, our business plan is that to develop the AI extends to the shrimp farming. This is the idea. Me and Mastan Rao and the Vinita came up last time. And the problems we are going to solve, we have 4 problems in this industry mainly. First is the thief, second water quality and the feed estimation, and the early stage disease detection. The thief prediction we have further we came with the solution of the motion detection and surface wave detection using the surveillance camera installed around the pond. And the water quality monitor can be done through the HydroLab technology, which gives the parameters of the dissolved oxygen temperature and conductivity and pH levels, etc., and the growth of the toxic algae and the biogas present in that pond. And the feed estimation we have came with the for this solution we came a artificial intelligence solution where we use a machine learning model which predicts the feed to be given to the fishery based on the data we got from the sensors we have fixed in the pond. And the early stage diseases, which is the most important, and the use loss causing for the farmers. For this we have came up with the solution of keeping underwater video systems cameras, which from the using of this video analysis we can using artificial intelligence of the deep learning technology, we are going to predict the early stage diseases.
All right.
The architecture of the model of the technical architecture was, we first of all we install some these hardware sensors around the pond, which
Mastan, I'll intervene here. Now, these are all very common things in the world of cloud. So go to the next slide.
okay. Next slide is the business analysis.
Yeah.
Actually, we have taken this cost estimation. Cost estimation for
per year infrastructure cost and per year development cost that you have.
Yes.
Okay.
And the infrastructure cost we have calculated for 1 hectare of the pond size. Because we have the hardware sensors to be implemented to be deployed on the pond.
So
we have.
So Mastan, they must be, this hardware system is one-time cost, right? You don't need to do on a yearly basis, right?
It's like a capital cost.
Okay, so you can, if you can segment them, if you can tell which one are one-time costs, capital, and which are like recurring costs, that will help.
Okay, I think more than you telling, we will tell you. Okay, IT systems don't cost. I'll tell you why. Because we need to move fast. IT systems don't cost you 6 lakhs, right? When you have cloud, which is only 10,000. In fact, much of the IT system is subsumed by the cloud nowadays. Right?
Yeah, actually, in my sense, the IT systems that laptops used for the development also I put in that.
Yeah, you don't need 25,000 rupees. You get a very good laptop. Okay. Now, what I want to tell you is, please give serious thought to this business analysis. Right? It's not a case of putting some random numbers there. It should also make sense, right? And development costs. Now you're going to have a development which is say 1 month long or 15 days. Nowadays we can get to give a contract to a small company which is into software development, saying that please develop an app for me. I'll give you 75,000 rupees. They'll develop the app and give you, right? Now the development cost that you're talking about is the cost that if you were to run a software company yourself for 1 year, okay. See, this is the feedback that's important. Okay, continue. Next slide.
Actually, the development part is taken by the company itself because it involves the machine learning part and which
worry about their annual costs. That's what I want to say. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I put this annual cost of.
No problem. Next slide.
Mastan, see, please understand. You don't need to justify to us right now. We are so Dr. Mohan and myself will provide you the inputs right now. Please take it into consideration. So you don't you can make a note of it. You don't need to answer to it right now. Okay? You may have your own rationale why you have put, but we are giving you our observations and we are giving you our inputs. It may be valid, it may not be valid in your domain area. Please take that, note it down, and accordingly move ahead. Please go ahead.
Please understand what we are trying to do, and this is what is called as the business sense for an engineer. A lot of MNCs come to India because they want to outsource. What you should be doing is to say, I will outsource this for under 75,000 rupees to develop this entire software. Okay. So therefore the cost is so low and therefore it's so viable. See, ultimately you need to make something which is viable, right? If you have a project with 80 lakhs, people say, oh my God, that's too costly, we'll not invest in that. If you say 75,000 rupees is the cost, then say, oh, okay, 3 of us will collect all our pocket money and 10 of us will invest in it, because people get about 7,000 rupees pocket money, if I'm right? As an engineer or something like that. 10 of you get together, you can run the whole show. That's all it takes, is it not? Continue.
Yes. I actually, coming to the revenue implement for each pond, the implementation cost would be the 45,000 approximately, and if we if we install for a single farmer with with the 10 ponds, we are expecting of getting the revenue of 4,50,000. After 2 years of we give the free subscription for the app we proposed for that. After that we will charge a 1,500 per pond for annual subscription. We in this will give the additional features for the farmers, like the hardware maintenance of the sensors and the replacement and those. And there is additional value for with this business plan. What in our research we found that in India, on average, 3,000 kgs of shrimp is produced in per a pond using the conventional cropping methods. And actually the price range varies from 250 to 350 per the kg, and then we found that the net profit per the pond would be in the range of 3 to 4 lakhs.
Okay, next.
Yeah, and there is the white spot disease, which is most prominent in the shrimps, which can cause huge loss to the farmers. Sometimes this disease might end up with having the zero revenue for the farmers. He might completely go into the losses.
Yeah.
With our business plan, we have the disease prediction done, and we can do the prevent measures before the disease cause huge loss to the farmers, so that he cannot get into the losses. And we are estimating that with this additional technology to the shrimp farmer, the production would be increased 30% of that additional 100 kgs of shrimps can be increased, and the net profit would be from 4 to 5 lakhs.
Okay.
You have only 1 minute left.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the risk and mitigations is in this project is that the implementation project is high investment for the farmers, with only one pond who is feasible for and most of the farmers in the shrimp farming in India are not exposed to the technology. It is we need to give the proper training and trial implementations can come such issues in this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next slide.
Yeah.
I
like.
Okay.
Next we have
sustainable aquaculture. Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. So I think on Vinita, do you have anything to say?
He is presenting today.
Okay. You can also see in a typical business plan presentations, or other than any typical presentations where collaboration is there should be that both sides should speak. All right. You have done your work. He has done his work. Of course, he has chosen to present the whole thing, but you two should share your thoughts, right? It should be like that. So next time when you get an opportunity to do something like this in a collaborative way, you should take your part of the time and share some insights from your viewpoint. Understand?
Sure.
That's the important feedback. All right. So I think if there's nothing much further than this, I think I would like to give a round of applause to Mastan and Vinita for this wonderful opportunity spotted and the usage of technology in this context. So let's give them a round of applause.
Absolutely.
And we'll go to the next presentation.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Vinita. Thank you, Mastan.
Thanks.
Thank you for giving this opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you, Vinita, and thank you, Mastan. And
while others, continue, Shekhar.
So just as a the details, so there are 6 presenters today, and there will be 2 winners. The top 2 will be the winners, which the jury will decide. I am not a jury here, and so there will be a first prize and a second prize. We will communicate to you in the next few days after we are completed today. Okay. With that, we move on to the next presenters. The next set of presenters will be leveraging technologies for precision advisories and enhancement outcomes for problems of air pollution by Mr. Abhishek Pandey, Mr. Matthew Rajan, and Mr. Vaidyanathan from Personal Air Quality Systems Limited. So, Mr. Abhishek, if you can bring them on board on stage, and Mr. Matthew,
Shashi is
if
coming
he's there.
Shashi is
Yeah.
bringing them.
Yes,
Yeah, wonderful.
Abhishek is on stage.
Thank you. And if you can kindly present your presentation, I don't have the latest one. So
Okay.
please share that on.
Sir, can you also onboard my colleagues Matthew and Vaidyanathan, please?
Mr. Vaidyanathan?
Yeah, Matthew is
Yeah. He'll be brought on board, not a problem.
stage.
So, Abhishek, 6 minutes for your pitch, 3 minutes for Q&A, right?
Sorry, 7 and 3.
7 and 3. 6 plus 3 plus 1. That's what I was thinking.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Because
Just
we are
Matthew,
already shooting time and Dev is waiting for us to get over this as soon as possible.
Sure,
Please
sir.
go ahead and
Can you see
start.
my screen, sir? Okay.
Yes.
So first off, thank you everyone for providing this opportunity to me and my team to present our technological solutions for issue of health problems due to air pollution. See, we all know that air pollution is a silent killer. It has got health and financial burdens. To give in numbers, the financial cost globally is nearly $5 trillion, and health impacts we all know. Coming to Indian scenario, in 2019, out of 10 top polluted cities, 6 were from India with an average AQI of 90. And this is probably because we have very sparse measurement. Only 116 districts out of 718 have only a monitoring station. That is only nearly 16% of the coverage. Now, that is because the traditional monitoring stations cost too much, nearly $250K. So this is where we tax chip in, because there is a need of cheaper sensors, accurate sensors with hyperlocal air quality data. So what we have done is we have leveraged new generation sensors, Internet of Things, machine learning to provide accurate hyperlocal air quality data. So we have developed a small module of PACS, which ingest data from various sources such as meteorological data, satellite data, weather data, traffic data, our PACS sensor data, and government data, which goes into PACS model. This PACS model is integrated with chemical transport model. This model also does correlation identification, also performs exposure tracking, and based on this, it provides health effect estimation for the given pollutant and also provides health advisory for the user. This is the high level diagram of our data layer. It has got, it ingests data from various sources, has got data ingestion layer, data transformation layer, data storage layer, and data output, along with data security and administration. Now, based on this technology and solution, we have developed 3 products: environmental sensors, indoor sensors, and the melting point of our solution, MyAir app. The environmental sensors are cheap and accurate alternative to traditional air quality sensors. By
lower cost.
The traditional monitoring station cost.
Yeah, inexpensive.
The indoor sensors are like, see, outdoor air quality is different from indoor air quality. And most of us spend most of our time in indoor. So it is very, very, very important to measure indoor air quality as well. So we have developed, keeping that in mind, indoor sensors with specific.
Your presentation is gone off screen. Shashi,
Yeah.
Problem?
Yes, just now the presentation has gone off.
So has it come
You
back
need to
again?
share it again.
Okay, just a.
Abhishek, please share it again.
Okay, I'll do it.
And don't worry, we'll give you that extra minute that you're losing here.
Can you see it again?
So thoughtful of you, Doctor.
Yeah.
Is it visible again?
Yes.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah. You are on. Please go
So
ahead.
as I was saying, we have developed indoor sensors based on the requirement that we spend most of our time indoor, and outdoor we are also aware of high air quality, but indoor we get very much complacent. So and then it comes our My Air app. My Air app is like as I said, the melting point of our solution. For every specific user, we get location based air quality, the lead pollutant, the meteorological uh, parameters, along with the exposure tracking of that user. With exposure tracking, the user can know that at what location he was exposed to what level of pollution, and this exposure tracking can be very beneficial for patients with respiratory disease, like for asthmatic patients or allergic patients. And since these new generation sensors are an emerging technology, we have collaborated with various tech giants for enhancing data accuracy at sensor level. Like with the Microsoft Research, we are working on PM sensors. With IIT KMS PCB, we are working on data validation. With CSTEP, we are working on integration of data from various sources. With CFTRI, we are working on developing food grade sensors. And these are some offerings with our data. Like we have now data, what we do with that data. So these are the hotspot analysis. The dots are our PAX devices, and the color represent the AQI band. This is the spatiotemporal offering which we have from our devices. The black dots are our devices, and the color gradient near our devices are the resultant of spatial temporal modeling. Coming to the business analysis, we are founded by a core team members of experienced technocrats, and they have designed and developed the solutions, and we were given a free hand to bring it to production level, the team of young engineers. The result of which is that we have successfully commercialized our environmental sensors. And coming to indoor and My Air app, the indoor sensor is at a TRL level of 8, and My Air app is at TRL level of 7. These are some of our customers of environment sensors and the research partner of for accuracy augmentation. That's it, sir, for my end.
So a quick question. So if I want to buy 1 unit of yours, how much will it cost me?
Sir,
I'll chip in, sir. Abhishek, as a technical
yes.
colleague, for the indoor sensor, you will be at a price point in the mid-20s, sir. The indoor sensors, and
About
this will
20,000.
have mid-20s. But it's not just the hardware. You will have a GSM or a Wi-Fi backhaul and a continued mapping of the environment. And with the security layers in place, you'll get an analytics also about the lead pollutant in your place and specific advisory on how you can intervene and do. Now, so manually you can intervene and provide a solution. If you want it as an automated solution, the triggers will be there. We have a Wi-Fi gateway for switching on the air purifier, humidifier, or any other gadget. It's Alexa and
Voice activation.
Alexa enabled. Yeah, enabled, sir. Sorry,
okay.
Abhishek, you continue, sir.
Yes.
Can you just share your customer slide?
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah. So primarily you are working with corporates, is it?
Yes, sir.
Is your
currently
solution
yes,
targeted towards corporates?
No, sir. We are inclined to both B2B and B2B2C and B2C. So currently we are focusing on B2B and B2C. After our we are in the process of going B2C, but currently we are at B2B and B2B2C.
Okay, who are your competitors?
Sir,
Xiaomi has
Abhishek,
some
may I
name
chip in?
prior.
Abhishek, may I chip in?
Yeah.
Yes, Vaidhi, please.
Yeah. Yeah, sir. Internationally, we have some giants from New Zealand, Aeroqual. You have English in company, Aeroqual and AQMesh and Bosch of Germany. In India, there are some of the startups and smaller companies which have tried to put together the sensors. They have done some business, with due respect, I must say. But the key challenge in this new generation technology is the data accuracy. The best proof of putting off our model to make the data accurate is the fact that we several institutions on the left side of the same screen that you see, we have got an active collaboration. The trick of the game, the crossing the chasm for anybody in the world will be make these sensors accurate. You can disruptively change the world. That is where we are trying to chip in, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful. All right. On that note, I think your 10 minutes is now over. Thank you so much.
Sir.
A big round of applause for you guys.
Absolutely,
Thank you, sir.
absolutely. Excellent.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So nice of you, but credit to Abhishek, Matthew, and our RAIN team, sir. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank
you, sir.
Thank you. Good luck. All the best.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah. With that, we bring on the third set of team members to present. So I would like to bring on the team from IBM, Madhu Vasudevan, Sanjana, and Vyoma Gajar, to present their plan on combat financial fraud in emerging markets. So,
Okay, I'm bringing them on stage.
please. Yeah. And as they come, we will. Welcome on stage, Madhu.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so just a quick modality here: 7 minutes, followed by 3 minutes.
So please share your screen right away.
Yeah, and you can share the presentation. I'm giving that opportunity because I know some of you wanted to make last-minute changes, so I may not have the updated presentation, which I know you already shared. But if you want to go ahead and share the presentation that you have, please go ahead.
Can you please invite Vyoma? She will be present. She'll be sharing the screen.
Yeah. She's
here. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Vyoma, can you hear us?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Welcome. Please. Your time starts now. Please start sharing.
Vyoma, can you please?
Yeah, give me a minute. I'm having some trouble trying to share this. Just a minute. Second.
So maybe I think because this is a business plan program,
can you guys hear me?
every minute of delay will lead away into your time. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Don't spend much time on, come to the core fast. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Sure. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our presentation. We are no strangers to financial fraudsters, having witnessed many scandals, right from Harshad Mehta in the 90s to Vijay Mallya in more recent times. With increasing digitization of financial institutions, payments have become easier, faster, and wide-ranging. Due to COVID-19, more people than ever are switching to digital payments, providing fraudsters lucrative opportunities to cheat common people. Next slide, please. Banks in the APAC region pay heavy fines every year for non-compliance to anti-money laundering regulations. This is reflected in the fact that more than 75% of these banks are committed to increasing their investments in analytics in the near future. Next slide, please. Well, using AI to detect fraud is not really new. For more than 30 years, fraud vendors, including our competitors, TCS, FICO, and Oracle, have been using AI to detect financial fraud. You may ask, why do we need yet another solution? If Vyoma can go to the next slide, we'll try to answer this question. We employ graph data structures to detect fraud patterns and non-obvious relationships. We also leverage cognitive computing approach that applies explainable AI to find risky transactions with fewer false positives. We also provide flexibility to bring custom ML models and define new fraud patterns. The field of ML and AI is rapidly evolving with new innovations. Our offering empowers financial institutions to leverage these technologies and protect their customers from fraudsters. In the next slide, we will do a deep dive of our technical architecture. Our offering is hosted on hybrid cloud using Janus Graph, which is an open source distributed graph store. Our platform can process 1 billion transactions in a matter of few hours. Let us now see how we score an incoming transaction. The first step is to ingest customers' transaction and personal information. Please note that we only use the information as authorized by the customer. Next, we apply entity resolution to detect non-obvious relationships. And then we run graph algorithms optimized for scalability on graph and score transactions using rule and ML-based models. To visualize the results, we offer a highly intuitive D3 Force-based UI, and we also ship with an inbuilt case manager, which allows investigators to open cases against suspicious customers. We'll now look at some use cases that help us understand how these powerful techniques can be applied. Can you please play the video? Our first use case is the Know Your Customer capability. Here, we're using our offering largely as a visualization tool. This capability allows an investigator to view details of customers, such as address, phone number, email, in an easy and intuitive
fashion. Madhu, your voice is breaking.
Vyoma, can you please pause?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just lean into my laptop a little bit. Okay. Can you please play? Yeah. Next, let us look at entity resolution, which is the process of resolving two customers as same or related. Traditionally, banks store customer data in the form of large tables connected via primary and foreign keys. Finding complex patterns in such interconnected data using relational database is computationally expensive. However, plotting the same data on graph immediately gives us better results. For instance, we can now clearly see that William and Bill are the same entity, and they're related to Michelle because they all share the same phone, email, and home addresses. Hawala transactions. Criminals use this process to convert money from illegal sources, such as tax crimes and fraud, into legal money. This can be translated into detecting temporal cycles in a graph database. By expanding the network of Ravi, we can see that he's related to Ankita, and together they own offshore companies in Latvia, a popular destination for tax evasion. As shown, Nicholas has converted nearly $1 million into legal money with their help. For this purpose, the Vermas have charged him a hefty fee of $15,000.
Your time is running short, so please accelerate.
Money mules are people who knowingly or unknowingly serve as intermediaries to financial fraudsters. They legitimize money from illegal sources and divert attention away from the real fraudsters. For this, they're rewarded a percentage of the money they help transfer. Let's analyze the following scenario. Nayak is identified as a risky individual by the bank and is the real perpetrator. However, the mules, Sinha and Madan, move large amounts of money for her to several offshore companies. Without powerful tools, such as graph analytics, banks can be led into thinking that these transactions are safe. Risk can be transferred from one party to another as a result of their interaction. Let us now analyze the fraud committed by Vijay Mallya. As the owner of Kingfisher Airlines, he borrowed more than 9,000 crores from several banks. By defaulting on the loan, he propagated his risk to all associated lenders. Several bank officials at IDBI were arrested for being complicit with him in this crime. In our last demonstration, we will showcase the case investigation and management tools. Investigation data is often large and complex, as can be seen on the right. By applying filters on the transaction type, amount, and destination, we can greatly simplify this data. By grouping the related entities into one, we can immediately reduce clutter and hide unnecessary and irrelevant details. This operation can also be undone. This is a search box on the page, and this allows investigators to quickly locate customers on a busy page. Vyoma, can you go to the next slide? In the interest of time, we'll skip the risk mitigation strategy. Next slide, please. As our final remarks, we would like to emphasize that our offering is not tied to just financial fraud. It is highly configurable and can be applied to problems such as human trafficking, drug trafficking, and terrorist funding. Thank you all for your time. We're now open for questions.
So the big question that I have is, how much of this work is your work? How much of it is the general IBM teamwork? And where is it that in the technological architecture, your technological innovations come into picture?
Vyoma, if you can share the screen. So all three of us are part of the FCI team, which is the offering. And me and Sanjana directly worked on the graph analytics part. So Sanjana here, she developed the entire visualization tool. So you saw the filtering, you saw the grouping of nodes, all of that work was done by her. And I was involved in the algorithms part as well as the data ingestion part.
Okay.
And Vyoma has worked extensively on the IBM platform side, which is part of the data science tools. Vyoma, do you want to add to this?
How long has this offering from IBM been there in the market?
So this product, this is just a part of the product. The entire offering has been for, I guess, four plus years. But this part, the graph analytics part, we have been working on it for 1.5 years.
Okay.
Mohan, I have a question. This is Gopal. So we heard a good part on the technology side of it that was covered well. What is the business side of it? Since this is a techno business plan, so what is the specific business addition, value proposition, growth, and the business case behind this work?
Sure.
Business analysis and business case.
Yes, sure. So the business case over here is a lot of banks need these kind of graph analytics tool because they want to reduce the amount of staff that they have in the form of data science, data engineer. They want everyone over there to be able to access this data or to be able to view and make conclusions out of them. So that was the need for this particular product. So I am in the POC team. So any bank that I'm working with for a short POC for like 3 months or 4 months, they really look for something which is more visualizing and is better in the way that can be tangible, right? Then any algorithm which is working on the background which people don't understand. Plus the kind of cipher query additions that we have in our product.
Sorry to interrupt, Vyoma. Is there a quantified business case or an ROI?
Yes, there is an ROI. We are actually not able to share the numbers, but we just signed on a deal with a major bank yesterday for 3 years for this particular product. And also I have been to the US for another bank where I have showcased the capabilities of this product and done a POC as well there.
Wonderful.
Some of this information is confidential. Even we as employees don't know the exact numbers. So it's very hard to give you even a ballpark or an approximate estimate. It's hard for us to give that number.
We tried, believe us, we tried trying to get those numbers, but we weren't able to.
Professor KVS, you have a question?
Hello. Interesting work. So I was curious that you need to run this streaming analytics. Where are you getting the actual data from? My guess is this is streaming, right? Or is this offline analytics?
So the way it is designed is that you run the analytics overnight. So let's say you have incoming transactions into the bank every single day, and then overnight you run all of these algorithms, and then it spits out some results. So in the morning, when investigators and bank people are logging into work, they can go and look at the fresh results and then do the analysis. So the data is, of course, let's say like I'm transacting, I have an account with ICICI, so every transaction that I make, ICICI is aware of that. And they may also have some kind of training data that banks also have invested a lot of time and effort into building their own models and their own, patterns. So they may have some training data that the financial institution is supposed to have. Like we don't ship that.
Okay, we are running short on time. If you don't mind, it's already 12 minutes past your session start. So on that note, I'd like to give a big round of applause. And thank you so much. Shashi, get over the next team. And the next team is...
the next team is Cook with Zero Knowledge by Stanley Smith from Amrita University, Bengaluru.
Okay,
Yes,
Stanley, start sharing your screen fast.
Stanley, please share your screen for the updated presentation as you come on stage. Stanley, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome.
Hello, sir.
Kindly share the screen, please.
Your time starts now, 9:17.
You have 7 minutes to present and 3 minutes.
Present within the 7 minutes, because if you exceed that, then you're getting hit elsewhere.
Can you see the?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you can go on to the slide share and start sharing. Yes. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So today's topic I would be discussing is Cook with Zero Knowledge, and I will just elaborate on what it is and what we do. So before going into it, I'll just tell you what the vision and mission is.
Yeah, before you do that, I want to tell you your email address has to be updated. Continue.
Sorry, sir?
Your email address has to be updated on the first slide.
Yeah, sure.
But continue. And spend more time on the business analysis part. Yeah.
Okay.
You are a business guy, so you should do also technological innovation that you're bringing into the table. Continue. Don't worry about the mission and all that. That we understand it. Okay.
Okay. So the problem what we are facing is, so at the present generation, people are getting into a lot of psychological aspects wherein people are suffering from all kinds of fears. And this is one of the aspects where people are fear of cooking. So what I actually thought was when we can come up with some kind of an app so that it is convenient for the people to use. At the same time, it has other features like it is where they can see it in a very realistic way. And the problems are, and main problem is the first one is the household expenditure, where people try to spend a lot on restaurants and they have either quality or quantity issues wherein they don't try to provide the best in it. And people going out and having a restaurant might cause little harm to them. And what are the solutions I came up with? This is probably building up a business plan, probably with the local region as the initial part, and having a tie-up with all the local and regional farmers and packing industry so that it is done in a very classier way, and ensuring all the consumers register through the app so that it's easier for us to communicate, so that it is much better service could be provided to them. And they also have a wide variety of options to cook what it is, what kind of food they like, and what are the varieties of food that we have. And also we add solutions like providing renting of all instant cookers and stoves, which is more convenient for them to use, so they don't have to buy it or probably borrow from someone else. So we give it to them, and this is one of the options which we had provided. And packing all the veggies with all kind of herbs involved in it, so that it's easier for them to pick what necessary is, what quantity has to be put. Everything has been proportionately formed. So what are the risks and mitigations are probably by creating the app might cause a problem, because this is one of the major aspects and problems for us. And connecting with all the sellers and the vendors would be another problem. And as part of all this, an investment also would occur, because creation of app is one major task for us to do it. And expected time on orders and all prep time would also conveniently be a problem. Okay. To overcome these situations are probably contacting via media, reducing all your packaging costs, and reducing the proper menu so that we don't have to build bulge in with a lot of items, so that it's convenient for us to do it. So reducing it, that would be a convenience, and also reducing inventory. So the main competitors are the Organic World, the Masala Box, and the Basket. So these three are actually running the same ideas on what I actually spoke about. The main problems that they are facing are probably the order cancellation that they get through, lacking of consumer trust, because no one ever knows an idea about what it is, where they are, and what really they do, and repayment options wherein they try to cancel the order and they don't get the actual repayment at the instant. Probably they take a longer duration, and delay in delivery and poor packaging. So what are the technologies I use? This probably you try to create the app, and it is more convenient for the people to choose what they like, what they want, so it's easier for them to cook in the desired dishes. So what they have to do is they just need to log into whatever account they have, that is Google, Facebook, or Yahoo, or probably create an account from their end through our application. And it first initially scans the location where exactly are you a service provider at that particular area, and you choose your favorite dishes based on the needs, what it is, like any kind of dishes, what they prefer. And if the consumer needs and any utensils that is required, you can probably choose those to add it to the cart later. And payments are being eventually gone through all kinds of payment apps, which is linked with Razorpay, which we will link with, and deliver the items what as per the schedule. And also provide instant support, which is more convenient for them, so that any kind of misleading activities happen to them, so that we can provide 24/7 services, which is more secure, and they're more satisfied with the app. And what additional features which we have involved is the optional feature of AR representation. Probably if a consumer is not able to know what the dish is, what exactly is looking into it, how does it look like, so you can always choose a location nearby or any kind of location. You can rather scan it, the food or the dish appears right in front of him and how it looks and how exactly it looks. So he doesn't have to confuse himself saying what is this, like how does it going to look, how does it represent me after cooking. So they have a in picture here in like proper representation or anywhere in the place where they like. They could just scan the device and just get the item on place. And there's also another feature called the switch, wherein this is where it helps them to switch what they prefer. If probably the kids won't have anything delicious food, they can rather switch to the kid mode, or probably the adult mode where people like to have any kind of higher end foods, like probably like food which they adults consume. And also a daytime switch, where this particular switch where it helps you to switch the day and night. So when you switch it up, it tells you what you want to have for breakfast, and automatically can switch it, or automatically the app switches to night when it is probably after 9 or 10 a.m. It tells you what are the foods which is available for dinner, so that people can consume it accordingly with their calorie count in place, so that they don't want to consume high or unhealthy food during the dinner time, or probably having very less food during the breakfast time. So we try to consume it, make it in such a way that it is more easier for them to communicate with it. And this switch is one way to people to have their calorie count and health benefit, which is really good. And the next one is basically how we're going to store it, how we're going to function all these things is basically a FreshCook app is basically stored in cloud storage, and like apps like AWS and Google Cloud, which is convenient to store in all the data for us to use it for later purposes. And also we work on the recommendation system cloud services, which can relate consumers what they like with the previous purchases and enable them to go on with what is really nice and what could recommend them for the next item what they could prefer. And also we make sure that the data is completely secure, that it doesn't get leaked out anywhere, and it is more secure in such a way. And what are the financial analysis that I came across with this, with creating the app is probably the capital requirement is the main problem is creation of the app. So this is one of the big tasks of anyone who's creating the application, wherein it costs around 15 lakhs for iOS devices and Android devices cost 10 lakhs. So apart from this, is not only the fixed amount, maybe it can vary because creation of app depends upon how the user designs the app and how it is performed. It might vary, and expenses approximately about 5 lakhs. So probably you can borrow the items and rent it out. And veggies or vegetables that has been taken from farmers and other vendors, that's around 3 lakhs per month. And herbs with all kinds of sellers around the nearby locations wherein people for a contact, which come up to 2 lakhs. And laborers and other delivery persons, which also might cost around 15,000, depending upon the number of laborers the delivery persons we allocate, and which particular locations might vary. And probably transporting the goods from one location, from the inventory to the main location, or probably having it to the packaging area. It depends upon the kilometer and the desired location on what they have fixed the rate. And packaging will almost cost around 2 lakhs per month. This was a deep check where I had to contact a few of my friends who are already into the packaging business, wherein I had to take data from them. And also the cloud storage would also help us to store the data, and that would cost around 2,000 per month, which is actual plan, which is an initial plan. It depends upon the plan we choose, which goes on is in a higher price. And these health impact on these are probably what people usually
move forward because you're running short on time.
Okay, so this is the last slide. So the health impact is probably less hygienic, and there's probably too much of sugar and salt, fat, calories. This could cause problems to people who are consuming out and not through cooking in their desired location. Serving plate is not all clean when you go to restaurants, and you tend to eat more when you go out. So these are the things you can avoid when you probably order food through the app which we have created. Thank you, sir.
All right, wonderful. So questions for Stanley.
The ROI was not clear. You made a case for how much it costs, but the ROI case was not clear. And the other also, while you called out the features, it's not clear what is the differentiation that will provide a barrier to entry by others.
So probably the two features which I have involved, the switch and the scan feature would probably be a great move for me, because the other applications or probably the competitors don't have this option.
Okay.
But my only comment is I did recognize and appreciate that, but is that really preventing them from also to quickly do that as well? That's really the question.
Okay.
Think about it, is what Dr. Gopal is saying.
Thank you, Stanley. On that note, give a now big round of applause, and let's go to the next presentation.
Yeah, all the best. Good luck. Thank you. With that, we move on to the next presenter, Mr. Rangarajan from Amrita University, Bengaluru. He'll present on effective tracking and management of food consumption at social gatherings and restaurants using an app. So Ranga, please come on stage and start sharing your presentation. Ranga, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Just joined.
Yeah. Please go ahead and share your presentation. And
Sure.
Just to repeat, you have 7 minutes to present. Mohan, you're on mute.
Okay. We are running short on time, so we have to do a fast job. And this is the elevator pitch. So make a proper business plan and the presentation.
Sure, sir. Is my PowerPoint visible to you?
Yes. You're on. Go ahead.
Okay. So, good morning to one and all gathered here for the TechnoBiz Plan Meet. I am Rangarajan, MBA student at Amrita University. My Techno Business Plan is effective tracking and management of food waste consumption at social gatherings and restaurants using mobile app. So the existing problem in India and big countries in Southeast Asia is that generally with regards to food, there are two major wastage. One is called excess food, and then the other one is the food wastage from the used food. There are many biotech companies in India currently funded by IITs that are targeting food wastage. The next step, what they are doing is taking the food wastage and converting it into a biogas at various plants around the city. But a comparatively niche area where still there is a scope for growth is avoiding the food excess that is being produced in various conferences, marriage halls, and various places of social gatherings. Example, we know that in tier 2 cities and tier 3 cities, there are many conferences and meetups going on, wherein they produce a lot of food for the gatherings, but the estimated food actually ends up being more excess than the people who actually consume it. So this is the market that I am trying to target through this business plan. Okay. And my plan, Techno Business Plan, is aiming to align with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, which is especially targeting the second goal, that is making zero hunger.
Okay.
So the food wastage, if it is connected to zero hunger, the apt amount of food produced will be targeted to the actual people who is actually consuming, so that we can reduce the food wastage. Coming to the business problem that I am trying to address, as you can see here from various news articles and statistics provided by public agencies. In
you
India,
can move on to the next. You can move on to the next. You already spoke about this, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Coming to the solution and technology aspect, the business actually, once the business starts tracking the areas where food is being wasted, actually we'll try to go and collect the food from that area, and this entire process of getting the service request to collect the food and storing it inside the cold storage inside the van, and then disposing it off or distributing it to the downtrodden part of the city, probably a tier 2 or a tier 3 city. The entire process is tracked through a mobile app. And for better transparency regards to service request payments and the nearest van service drivers who will be able to collect and distribute, the entire thing is tracked through an app that we will be creating for our business that we have named it as a Bojan app. And this is connected to one of the famous cloud storage services like either AWS or Google Cloud, so that the cost that we will be incurring will be mainly regarding to the subscription for this cloud. And apart from that, so this is the business process visualization that I just wanted to present. So the tracking, the collecting of food, and then the distribution at different parts. So this is the visualization part. So as I discussed earlier, this is the cloud storage and access. Since we are using a well-established provider like AWS or Google Cloud, we don't have to worry too much about the data storage or security. The app will be synchronizing the data continuously so that the managers and then the personnel can track the same with regards to each transaction. Coming to the business analysis part, the initial business is estimated to start with an amount of about 70 lakhs. This includes the cost that is being incurred for having the vehicles and then paying for the people who drive the vehicle and then the helpers that who help in storing the food. The business is actually estimated to work for about 300 days throughout the year. And since we run this business on a service-based model, initial focus is not to concentrate much on gaining too much profit. But as the but still, in order to run the business, we will be needing a little bit of profit every day. So the cost for each of the different expenditures I have listed over here. And one of the major costs that we will be including here, it will be the subscription for the cloud. So if we take an annual subscription, so that cost can be once in a year cost, so that we can avoid repetitive costs at regular intervals. The other costs generally include maintenance and then the cold storage and transportation. The main risks that are involved in this project is that we have to ensure that the food is being collected and then distributed at the proper destination. We have to ensure that the food is not being either taken or wasted because of some mishappenings through the journey. And before discussing this food profile, the major competitors to this business are not much focusing about the food distribution, but they are focusing much more on converting the food wastage instead of concentrating the food excess part. So I have not listed any direct competitors to this startup idea. Coming to the general statistics that inspired me to take this business plan is that recent study by Center for Consumer Studies, IIPA India, released that most of the conferences and marriage halls, they cook excess food and it amounts to billions of rupees being wasted. And large section of the society is not able to meet their day-to-day needs of food. So that is one of the factors that made me take this project. And coming to the final part of the presentation is the economic value that this probable idea would be bringing is that based on various articles we hear every day that almost a lot of countries and including India starve from food. So by reducing the gap between excess food being produced and then distributing it to the downtrodden people, we will be able to not only reduce the cost for the food production, but also we'll be able to move slightly towards the hunger reduction in India. Thus, it will improve in the long term. It will be helping in improving the global hunger index in India. Currently, India is ranked somewhere near to 70, but as we move progress, we'll be able to attain a better position in the long term, probably 5 to 10 years from now. So, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful presentation. Any questions for Rangarajan?
Who will pay you, Rangarajan? in this model, it was not clear who is paying you.
Sir, initially, this is a startup idea that will be funded by the public sector banks or the venture capitalists. So
that is not where the funding comes from for starting the venture is not the question. In your business model,
where is the revenue?
Who pays? Where do you get money from? When you say you'll make a profit, who pays you?
Where is the revenue? And from that revenue, how are you going to offset the expenses and make the profit?
Sure, sir.
Who are the customers who are going to pay for you?
Sure, sir. And with regards to this,
doing a social service is different from running a business which will serve customers who in turn will pay you, so that will be your revenues from which you can make a meaningful profit for you to sustain the business.
Yes, sir. Coming to that part. So when we receive a service request from one of the conferences or the buffets, so instead of, since the food is not actually being wasted, the food is only in excess, still it is somewhat in a good quality to be disposed of. We'll be taking it at a concessional rate from them. So, so this will help them pay us an amount, and then we'll be taking the food from them and we'll be giving, distributing it elsewhere. So by taking it at a half rate, we'll be getting the revenue from the place where it is being actually distributed.
So what about conferences like these, which may become trendsetters even after COVID, where we are not hosting it in a hotel and we don't have any food? So who are your customers?
Our main customers are marriage halls and then physical conferences in tier 2 cities. We are not targeting the online conference. So.
It's still not clear to me why the caterers would pay you, because they can dispose the food themselves. That's not clear.
Okay, sir.
Good point. All right. On that note, I think, thanks, Gopal. On that note, we need to close this presentation and go on to the
No, we have one.
Yeah, last one.
We have one last one. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks. Give a big round of applause to Rangarajan for his innovative idea. But what's important is, Rangara, you need to do a lot more homework on the business front.
Okay? Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Take those points by Dr. Gopal as food for thought, and I'm very sure that will be a good business plan for you. With that, we come on to the last presentation for today, by Miss Manaswini from Super Auto for Chennai on community irrigation for effective farming.
Shashi, please are on board.
Yes, Manaswini is on stage.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you, Shashi. So Manaswini, can you hear us? Manaswini, can you hear us? You are on stage. We can't hear you. Hello? Manaswini, can you hear us?
There's a problem with the signal.
Yeah. Manaswini, if you can share your slide if you can hear us, please.
Your time starts now.
If you are not able to, then maybe I can do that.
Do that, Shekhar. Quickly pull her.
Yeah. Let me do that. Manaswini, that will share some bandwidth for you, I guess.
Yeah.
So you can don't need to, Manaswini, you don't need to share. I'll go ahead and share it. Yeah, you can just speak and not share, so that way you have less bandwidth. Manaswini, can you speak?
Yeah.
Manaswini, we cannot hear your audio. Can you?
Yeah. Yeah, Manaswini, we can't hear your audio, and your presentation is up. If you can speak, we can hear you. We will get going.
Or maybe also Shekhar Babu, you should give a 2-minute big picture of this project, and then we can discuss.
Yeah.
She has a big signal problem that I can see it on the screen.
Yes, correct. She's off the stage, right?
Yeah, she probably would have logged off to log in again.
Okay. I'll get started. Dr. Mohan, you can see the slides, right?
Yeah. Quickly, just give a 2-minute summary of it. I think.
Yeah, it's a community irrigation for effective farming. And what we have is looking at the farming side, on the agricultural side, especially for the small farmers, they have a difficulty to get to go into mechanized farming, to get tractors. So what Manaswini is proposing is if small farmers can get together and rent or buy a machine which is expensive and use it for their purposes, that will be much more easier for them to get into this opportunity and go into high-end equipment, which is very difficult, or they may have to take a lot of loan and it's a financial burden of them. So keeping that in mind is her proposal here. Very, very unique, very innovative. And keeping just from a potential survey standpoint, what it shows is, yeah, we all know 30% of them farmers use, 30% of farmers only use machinery. So there is a great opportunity here to adopt mechanized farming. And what she believes is that should in turn create a green revolution.
Okay, next.
And
next slide.
Going on, so what she's saying is a virtual community where small farmers join together in a particular locality and get into buying this technology and share that. They use it for their particular specification.
Okay.
And make it. So she's proposing an app which is based on a cloud-based application called Agro App, where first thing will be the farm vehicle management, which is where they can rent, buy farms in a virtual community together. And they can access the government subsidies. A lot of government subsidies are available, which they are not privy to. They don't know that it's available. So she wants to make sure they also provide that kind of a service. All the latest technology updates related to agro farming, agro application is where they will also provide them.
Babu, your 2 minutes is over.
So no, I have 7 minutes, Pa.
No, you're not presenting for her.
No, I thought I am.
No.
She's there?
She's there.
She's there, but we are not able to hear her.
Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and present for her.
So your 2 minutes is over. Okay.
Manaswini, can you hear?
No. Okay, just go to the slide which is next, business analysis.
Absolutely. Yes. So we'll just. Business analysis is there is an application development of a person to develop the whole app at 25,000 per month. For 12 months. Per month into 12 months, which is 4 lakhs. An analyst also who implements. The business analyst is a person related to that particular agricultural field. There's a cloud platform. So the total technology cost is about 8 lakhs. On the non-business side, there is I can see kind of an ROI here, which shows that, okay, what happens in a conventional mode, what happens in her harvesting mode, where there is a significant return on time.
The harvesting machine makes a big difference.
Absolutely. Human labor, there is a good amount of turnaround you can look at, and there is a cost also proportionally higher from a business standpoint. There are obviously risks and mitigations. That's the last slide, I guess. Yeah, that's the last slide. So we will. So Manaswini, sorry for the technology piece from your side. We do understand what you have, and we do see that thing coming from the last last week that you presented and the feedback that we gave to you, I do see there are changes here. So with that, any more questions from the team here, Dr. Gopal or Mohan, anybody?
Nothing much.
Manaswini will give that feedback to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So don't worry that you are not here.
No questions.
Go ahead, Dr.
Only one quick comment I want to make to all the attendees. Can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Gopal, we can hear you.
A quick comment is that actually the top 2 awards will be announced this evening in the closing session. I just wanted to make it clear to everybody, and so please come to the closing session because all awards across the conference will be announced then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Gopal. That was that's very important. Yeah. Please make sure to be available today evening. What time, Mohan?
Yeah, 5:30 onwards the program starts.
5:30. So I kindly request all of you to be available at 5:30. And specific to Manaswini, don't worry that you are not here. This doesn't mean that you are not qualified for the top 2 slots. So we will consider. We have considered, and we understand what you have brought to the table. So with that, I hand it over to Dr. Mohan for the next.
Thank you, Professor Shekhar Babu, for comparing the set of 6 presentations which have been chosen from a lot of 15 presentations that were submitted for the TechnoBiz Plan Showcase track. I would like to request Shashi to close the session and start the next session where Dev Nadgir from Singapore is waiting for us to share his thoughts on Microsoft Azure and analytics platform, so we can really do the limitless analytics that we want to. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks.